Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Nonprofit Podcast, and whereby we are creating this as a platform for nonprofit leaders to mastermind with each other on the go at the time that they want. And today I have a special guest here. Her name is Deepa Chaudhary, and she's the founder of Grant Orb. Welcome, Deepa.
Thank you so much for having me on your pod.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. I thought you're super interesting, but I wanted to hear directly from you introducing yourself.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Deepa Chaudhary. I founded Grant Orb AI. It's an amazing, futuristic system that exists today for nonprofits. It's designed keeping nonprofits in mind. It's an AI that helps you find, write, and win grants. So it's super magical. Everything gets done in minutes. You just have to command the AI and you can shut your laptop and go, and our agents are working in the background finding grants for you. Once you want to apply for a grant, you can just describe the project that you have in mind. Unstructured thoughts are fine. You don't have to polish your thoughts, grammar, English, none of that matters. Just put your thoughts the way it occurs to you. And the AI takes that information and writes down the entire application for you based on whichever funder you're applying for. So it customizes the form, it writes the whole grant application that generally takes 50 hours, is now down to 3 minutes, and you don't even have to wait around. Once you enter your thoughts, what is it that you want to write, you can shut your laptop and go, and our agents are working. And once the work gets done, the agent notifies you via email saying, grant is ready for you to review. So it's very much like human AI collaboration, but humans' job is to generally just guide the AI. What is it what funding are you seeking for? And this is the kind of projects that I want to apply for. And that's it. And once the proposal is ready, you can come and review it, update it with AI. Everything is AI powered. Everything gets done in minutes.
I mean, it gets a little bit scary for sure. Before we even get into your product, which I'm so obsessed about as well, let's get back a little bit, step back, and then start with your particular background, because I know you have significant major background in grant funding itself, and you've worked with major institutions and corporate funders, such as the one Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, Salesforce Foundation. There are so many big foundations, and even the government of Singapore you worked for before. So tell us a little bit about that experience. And I mean, you're on the other side. Yeah. I presume you are granting money out. So you're not on the nonprofit side applying to get money. You're granting the money. So tell us about your experience and how it shaped the Grant Orb, the AI app.
Yeah, definitely. So it all stemmed, the whole idea of applying AI for grants stemmed from my extensive grant experience. So I've been on both sides. I've also been somebody who's written applications manually. So I know the pain points. I know how much time it takes to do those applications. And I've also been on the other side with Salesforce Foundation, giving out funding, and what it takes to review and how we judge or assess applications. So I have experience on both sides. And I've always been in this space. This is my space. I literally did my master's in social work from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, which is one of the premium institutes in Asia. And then I co-founded United Way Mumbai, the very first United Way chapter in India. And United Way, as everyone understands, is a lot of fundraising. You got to raise funds, and then you have to, once you raise funds, then you allocate funds for local issues. For us, it was Mumbai. Mumbai is a massive city of 16 million people. It's big. Issues are big. And so we were the very first one. We did payroll giving, which is basically you just get corporates to sign up for your payroll giving programs. Employees say, this is how much I want to dedicate every month towards this cause. So a lot of concepts that are now becoming mainstream, we experimented back then with United Way Mumbai. A lot of corporate giving, raising money from corporates, sponsorships. And then we use that funds to allocate to local nonprofits. So again, giving out grant funding. So that was United Way Mumbai, and then I moved.
Before we move on to
Yeah,
the next one, I have a quick
yeah,
question, if you don't mind me
yeah.
asking. So you co-found United Way Mumbai, and then you started with like raising funds, right?
Yes.
So how did you like, if you were to give nonprofit organizations and charities in the Canadian market today one piece of advice? I see a lot of roadblock in people's mind, because this could be because it's winter blue. It could be
Yeah.
it could also be because it's at the beginning of the year for fundraising professionals out there. They would be thinking, okay, I start from ground zero again. I hit the target last year and now I'm starting from ground zero again. So looking from both sides for organizations that do not work with fundraising professionals and that they have to start now, and also fundraising professionals out there that are, starting out again, resuming their activities, what's the one piece of advice that you can give them to kickstart off the year?
I think establishing relationship with your funder is the most important thing. Most of the time when we gave out money at United Way, we repeatedly gave out to the same organizations, unless new projects that really stood out, because you establish trust, right? So I would say, like, I know every year it's like, oh, we need to start a grant cycle again. It's the same thing, right? We're living grant to grant to grant. Grants are so essential for this sector. And so if once you get a grant from a funder, like establishing relationship with them, being in constant communication with them, even just don't rely on like reports. I know reports are one way to like report back on how you've spent the funding, but establish a relationship with the person who gave you the money. You did interact with somebody, so I think that relationship goes a long way. And then invite them over to your, if it's all local Canada, if it's in Toronto to Toronto, like invite them over to your project to come and see it. So that all builds trust, and then it gets easier. Then, like you apply next time, your name will be like top of the mind.
Yeah, that's the feedback loop, right? So, what about if you are trying to fundraise from someone who's never given you money before? Like, how
Yeah.
do you, or you have a target or organization, say, could be Salesforce. I'm just
Yeah,
picking
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
random,
Yeah.
like, how do you even approach Salesforce or
Alignment.
anyone?
Alignment is the most important thing. So obviously it starts with research. For instance, if you're working in, say, you're a nonprofit whose goal is to improve dental hygiene, say for children in
Yeah,
Canada, right?
yeah,
Now, who do you think will give you money? Obviously, there are you need to narrow down your search, right? Because the grant search is such a big space, and so
yeah.
you need to really narrow it down to see which are the philanthropic organizations that are interested in children and education and health, which are the corporates that would ideally come upon on board as like sponsors, like maybe Colgate, maybe other companies that are FMCG companies that have like alignment. So firstly is finding alignment with who could be the potential donors for your for your cause. That's number one thing. And then reaching out to them, obviously, seeing what kind of funding is available, making cold calls. Like if it's a corporate,
Yeah.
like just call them, email their head of PR or marketing or whoever handles CSR or ESG. Introduce your organization. Sometimes it's as basic as that, just introducing yourself and saying, hey, we exist and we do this and we would love your support. And they will ask you to submit a proposal, right? Because they want to know how you would want to spend that money, right? And then it
Yeah.
comes down to proposal and then finding alignment. How does the funder, you have to think from the funder's point of view. Sit in the funder's chair and think, they're giving you $10,000. What is it that they expect from you? Like just try to think from their point of view. Like what is it that, are they looking for some kind of visibility? Then like that is also part of corporate giving, right? Like they are looking for some kind of visibility, like this has been funded, or they're looking for employee volunteering. They would want Colgate employees, for instance, to come over and volunteer at your nonprofit. So what is the kind of engagement that they're looking at? So you have to really like think and preempt maybe some of these things and then address those in your proposal, like as much as possible. I think alignment is the number one thing for you to win the grant first time over.
So that's amazing. That's very key advice for kickstart the rest of the year. So okay, now we just finished talking about your top advice, and we are at United Mumbai. And what happened after United Mumbai?
Yeah, I moved to Singapore. So that was
Oh.
Bombay. Yeah, I've traveled across the world. So I moved to Singapore and I briefly worked with Habitat for Humanity Asia Pacific over there. I organized a big conference on housing because Singapore's housing infrastructure is really good, public housing infrastructure. And Habitat for Humanity was organizing a conference. So I just that was something that I did as I just moved into Singapore, just starting all over again. And then I worked for a local nonprofit, which is pretty global. They have a global scale, like Jack Sim. He's a world-renowned social entrepreneur. He's written books. There's a movie made on him, which was actually premiered at the Hot Dogs Festival in Toronto called The Toilet Man. So he started this organization called the World Toilet Organization, which was to promote the cause of sanitation for 2.6 billion people who do not have access to toilets. And this is like, he's sitting in Singapore, which is like, in Singapore, sanitation is not an issue. It was an issue at one point of time, but not then. So I don't know how he came up with this idea of like starting this organization around sanitation, but that's what he did. And we met at that conference where he was a speaker as well. And he learned about my background and wanted me to fundraise for WTO. That's what he called it. So yeah, I spent like 1.5 years fundraising for him. I was the only fundraiser at that organization. When I joined, we were literally in such a bad state that he was ready to sign his own personal money to keep the bills and the lights on. Like it was at that state, like he was in dire need of funds. And he's a global phenomena, but he uses a lot of like his own network to do like in-kind contributions, like where people can elevate his cause without any monetary exchange. But then he had a staff, like people at the office who needs to be paid, there's an entire infrastructure in place that needs to be supported. And so I came with like a lot of pressure to raise money. Like now I have to raise money. I have to fundraise for this guy. He trusts me. And so as a single fundraiser, I focused all my efforts on grant funding because I knew that I can raise maximum amount of money through grants. Like if I try to do events or if I try to like reach donors one-on-one and they give me $50, $100, it's not going to give me maximum return on my time. So where can I get maximum funding from? And so I really singularly focused on grants. And I was only there for 1.5 years and I wrote, I think, 6 grants and I won 5 out of 6 grants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which including from government of Singapore. So they invested in us because being a Singaporean nonprofit, it was a grant from the Economic Development Board of Singapore. So they wanted Singapore to be established as a regional hub for like nonprofits in Asia. And so they wanted, and so we aligned with that mission because we were like an international organization headquartered in Singapore. So we aligned with that, but it was a very, very technical like proposal. Like we had to like really showcase the value proposition of the organization. So that was a tough one. Then I applied to Rockefeller Foundation, which is based in the United States from Singapore. I just happened to like see that there is an alignment. Like they do invest in a lot of sanitation projects in Asia. And I just sent them a cold email and they said, okay, here's the form. Fill out this form.
Cool.
So that was one. And then I remember getting funding from Unilever because they have like a hand washing campaign, like the soaps and stuff. And so that was an alignment that I found like, okay, they would be interested in funding us. So we got funding from Unilever. So Salesforce Foundation, I wasn't working for Salesforce at that time, but I wanted to modernize our CRM, like how we manage customers and not customers, donors. So I remember Jack would go to like World Economic Forum every year. He got invited to go to World Economic Forum and he met like all the top guys and he would come back with these business cards. And like every day would like give me business cards and like reach out to this person and reach out to that person. And I'm like, listen, I need a better management system for reaching out to all of these.
Yeah.
And I remember Salesforce had like a call to application to like use CRM technology to modernize your management of like potential donors and whatever. And we applied for like a grant funding and we got money to like customize
Cool.
like a custom application to just manage all the WTO prospects and donors.
Wow, that's amazing. So you implemented the CRM. You also help applying for all these grants,
Yes.
and you've already gone through all these yourself. And there must be a secret why you are getting 5 out of 6 grants approved.
I was like highly strategic in finding that alignment with the potential donors. Like I knew like we need this money. And I know there was a lot of pressure because others would be like, why aren't you doing events? And why aren't you doing this? And like, you know, like how like everybody's looking at the fundraiser, like you're supposed to get the money. Where is the money coming? And I'm like, wait, have patience. Money will come. Like, I'm just casting my net right now. Money will come, you know, like have patience. And a lot of funding came like when I think 2 or 3 grants got approved when I left the organization. I wasn't even aware, but I met Jack again in Toronto when he came for the, for his documentary that was premiered at the Hot Docs, and I met him, and he told me about like, wow, you had the best hit rate. He said like you applied for 6 grants and you got like 5 out of that. So that was great to know. But after that, I moved on to actually work with Salesforce Foundation in Singapore. Because I got to know, as I said, relationships. Like I got to know the people who gave the money, who gave the grant. And I understood CRM really well because I was like implementing that CRM in WTO. So I got to understand the Salesforce technology really well. And then I would say since then, I've always worked at the intersection of technology and social impact because at Salesforce Foundation, I was managing philanthropy for Asia Pacific. So the entire Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia, South Asia, you know, like everything. So I really got to, our goal was to donate technology to nonprofits and get them to modernize their tech stack. So
that's amazing. Now, so with all these vast experience that you have, alignment is such a golden nugget. How did you decide to start Grant Orb?
Grant Orb, yes, that was in 2022 when ChatGPT just launched in November. Like ChatGPT came out as a chatbot November 30th, 2022. And I was writing a book at around that time. I was researching decentralized autonomous organizations, which are like a Web3 concept, basically. And these are impact organizations, which primarily means that the future nonprofits will be formed on the internet. Like people will collaborate on the internet and they will hold bank accounts on the blockchain and they will accept payments in stable coins. And it was like a very futuristic concept again.
Yeah.
But I researched a lot of these already existing impact organizations that were on the internet using blockchain as a technology. And I was writing a book and I needed a help with the book cover. I had got a grant from Filecoin Foundation to research that book, but somehow I didn't budget for a visual designer. And so I didn't have the money. And around that time, there was this text to image AI technology called Midjourney that was already out there. And I used it to generate a most stunning graphic for my book. And I was like, wow, like I could do this in like microseconds and iterate on it. Like this would take like, I don't even know how to approach visual designers, you know, like I don't even know how much they would charge me. And here I'm in full control. I can iterate on that design till the time I'm satisfied. But actually I one-shotted it. In my first go, I got what I was expecting. And I used that as a book cover. So I was highly impressed, and that got me thinking, like, how can we now, like, this AI is so magical, like how can we apply this to the nonprofit space? And all I could think was grants, because grants is what I like technically did.
Yeah. So then now with that, my understanding, because I know Grant Orb is really, really when I say diverse, it means it has far reach. It all goes all the way to all across Canada. Does it also have database of grants that are available that's outside of Canada?
Yes, anybody anywhere in the world can use it. Like we've got customers from Sweden, London, Australia. I just recently demoed to a nonprofit based in Israel. Who they have an amazing project going on, which is training ethnic tribes in Israel about like on football and stuff, girls. So amazing, like amazing. So it basically is not limited by geography. Anybody on the internet can use it. It can write any kind of grant. It can search grants for you based on your profile, where you're based, what's your registration status. We have, once you like set up your profile, then it'll be very, very tailored for your needs. You don't have to go through like 1,000 grant opportunities to know which one is good for me. It'll just send you very highly aligned opportunities your way.
Now, so I know that there are jobs out there that are just doing grant fundraising. Not necessarily grant writer, but there are also jobs available that are helping a nonprofit organization writing grant application. So I also have a nonprofit client recently, and they are struggling to raise funds, long-term sustainability. They're so focused on program delivery, so then they don't have money to do anything else, and then they are seeing that their strategic partners, so all these grantor, they are cutting back, or there is not a lot going on. So I guess the question is, the grants are being used for operation and program delivery, and now they are at this intersection. Hey, I need to fundraise for long-term sustainability, which is always the story, I think. Yeah, everyone's story is the same as your previous example that you share. The experience that you had, it's dying at the moment. So who's going to pay for the bill? So what can Grant Orb do in this situation?
I think one is that so just to like a lot of small organizations, they don't have the bandwidth to sit and write grants, right? Either they can do program delivery or they can sit and write grants, and sometimes they don't have a dedicated person to even write grants. So the executive director is literally writing grants at midnight. That's the reality. Or they don't touch grants. They're like, oh my gosh, lots of work, then you get the money, then you have to report, like lots of administrative work. So our goal when I started Grant Orb was to democratize access to grant funding, because I knew a lot of frontline organizations that are doing amazing work might not be experts in writing grants. It's an expertise. It's an area of expertise, the more you write, the better you become. You understand more. And with Grant Orb, like I've baked in that expertise into the AI system. It's an AI system that's very specialized in writing grants and finding grants and helping you win grants, because AI suggests areas of improvements in case, a certain section is weak or not aligned to the funders criteria. It'll tell you to like specify this or do this, so it's very guided. And the ED can get done in like 5 minutes, the idea is to really give everybody an equal playing field, that you all have access to a tool like this, and now it's based on your organization's capacity and the idea that you're suggesting, that you get funding, not based on who can access a grant consultant, for instance, not based on if you have time, not based on if you have money. It is equal footing from now. Everybody can apply for that pot of money. So that was the initial idea, like democratize grant funding.
Now, so for Grant Orb, from what I can understand, I'm super excited about all gadget and technology stuff all the time. I remember just a silly story to share. I used to have a boyfriend who gave me like jewelries as gift, and I was like, oh, whatever. I was happy and grateful, but then I got an iPad. At the time, iPad was new, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. I was super excited.
Same here. And more than jewelry, give me gadgets.
I know, I love gadgets.
Give me Apple stuff.
So like I'm super excited about Grant Orb. Now, can I get a better understanding? So what you're saying, and if I'm not misunderstanding it, is that Grant Orb also does the background research on what the new grants are available out there.
Yes,
So
yes.
not just on focusing on what existing grants are, but also does the research for the users, so the users don't have to do all the legwork trying to figure out what grants are potentially available to that would fit the organization.
Yes, we started off with grant writing, but we've expanded it because our goal is to really ultimate vision has always been like it should do everything for them when it comes to grant, So we started off with grant writing. Then one of our customers talked about like was down with COVID and wanted help with grant reporting, and we didn't have that. And so we built that whole thing out over the weekend because she wasn't looking for writing; she was looking for reporting. So we do writing, reporting. We have like a wizard that does validation, like we'll do an look for funder alignment and suggest improvements. So goal is to help you write winning grant proposals. Like its expertise has been baked into the system, and it's all AI powered. And then last year we introduced grant search because that will ultimately help them. If they were like doing 2 grants, now they can do like at least 20 grants. With this grant search, always looking for opportunities for you, sending it your way, and then you saying, yes, I want to apply for this, I want to apply for this. And now it literally takes 5 minutes for you to write the whole proposal out. The only time it takes is to like submit into their system, which is like submission is an outside thing, which ideally I would love to build. And we have it on our roadmap to build like a submission agent as well, who can take the information from Grant Orb, open a web browser of the funder, and then like copy paste. All you got to do is come and see like everything has been done properly, so you don't have to sit and do that yourself.
Yeah, that is the last manual
thing.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so with Grant Orbs doing that, do you have any track record as to the success rate of Grant Orb writing?
Lots. Like we had a small school in Vancouver who won a grant from the Canada Post Foundation. That school I actually went and met them because I'm based in Vancouver. That school is very small, very alternative, and they are super tight with the kids, so they have no time to sit and look for grants. They have no time to even look for grants, but they need grant funding. And so Grant Orb helped them identify that opportunity, which is the Canada Post Foundation. They applied for it and they won 25,000 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
And they have never written a grant before. The principal is also very not tech savvy. Like, I spoke to her and she couldn't she's not she's good with kids. That's her job, but she's not very tech savvy. So they managed to do this with literally no time, but just an idea of how they want to use that fund. And they won that grant. And it's been really good to see that a small school who never thought of grants, or the only grants that they've applied is like maximum $500, which also needs a lot of work actually.
Yeah.
To be winning a $25,000 grant is amazing. So yeah, we've had many success stories. There are a couple more from Toronto, like a 25-year-old organization based in Toronto working on food security. Lots of organizations. Some are open to talking about using AI. Some are not comfortable right now. So that's been like because the technology is so new, that's so whoever's comfortable, I just feature them on my homepage. Whoever's not, I'm like, okay, maybe whenever you are ready to be, talking about Grant Orb.
That's awesome. Well, it's good to see that. I love the vision that your Grant Orb is able to level the playing field. Also doing the research and matching the mission of the nonprofit organizations to the various grants available. I think that's very important because that's the bulk of the work. Yes, grant writing is important, but then grant writing comes after the research part. So both are equally weighted in terms of like hours of commitment. So I really love that idea of getting to do all that with such a short period of time, and you're building something I think very pioneering in the nonprofit world. So thank you for doing that.
It is. It takes people sometimes they have to see it to believe it, because when I tell them, they think either I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Like, how can so much, like 50 hours of grant writing work be reduced to like less than
Yeah.
5 minutes? Because the whole application gets generated. If you're using a chatbot, you're still struggling with the chatbot. And the chatbot loses context sometimes, because the grant forms can get long, and then it forgets what was discussed and can make up things, things like that, like, happens. But this is like a system engineered for grants. Like, every little thing has been taken into account.
That's amazing. Well, Deepa, thank you so much for your time today. Can you tell us how we can get in touch with you, or to get to know Grant Orb a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm on LinkedIn. I would highly recommend that people connect with me on LinkedIn, because I talk about AI a lot. AI in the social impact space. Like, I have a newsletter on LinkedIn, I use AI for everything myself. Like, as a bootstrap startup, we use AI. Like, I've made commercials and stuff, and then I talk about the process. So I'm educating. I do a lot of workshops and stuff. So, like, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. And then grantorb.com, which is GRANTORB.com. Definitely go there and create an instant outline. It's free. Anybody can do it. Like, just go and dump your project idea in a grant wizard, and it'll instantly create an outline for you, which you can then just feel the magic of AI, basically. So definitely go do that, and then see it for yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Deepa. This has been wonderful. And I am looking forward to more nonprofit organizations out there using your platform, so that they can get more funding to really achieve their mission that they are set up to do.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your pod. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. As we wrap up, I want to share a bit more about what we do at Altus Financial Solutions. For the past 18 years, Altus Financial Solutions has been dedicated to enhancing the financial management and strategic planning capabilities of hundreds of associations and nonprofits across Canada. Our extensive experience has enabled us to deliver tailored financial solutions that drive growth and enhance sustainability for nonprofits and associations. If you are interested in learning more about how Altus Financial Solutions can support your organization, I would love to offer you a no obligation 20-minute call. Let's discuss your unique challenges and explore how we would be able to help you achieve your goals.